Designation: Vertalic, Spinal Command of the Dominion Sentinel Class, Harrower Zalzaran Location, Drift Quadrant 7, 13, Verge of the Grelin Abyss. Timestamp: Chronopulse, 771.441 C. The silence of the Grelin Verge was not mere vacuum, but ceremony. Commander Vertalic pulsed his primary vocal sac in quiet reverence, exhaling a measured stream of ferroglow that curled around the commandius like incense before a shrine. Null drift achieved. Outer shell folded, announced subprime Heliox, his frill rigid with precision. Tertiary scans initiated. Vertalic flexed his cloaked limbs behind his thoracic cradle and allowed himself a moment of ancestral pride. The Zalzaran stood at the apex of Dominion engineering, an obsidian fang in the void, 7.1 kilorets in length, cloaked by neural phase oscillators and plated in transbone lattice. Not even the ancient predators of the dissonant reaches could pierce her veil. And here, at the edge of the abyss, they would pluck a human echo from extinction's remnants. The Spinal Command's internal nectar ducts secreted a thin line of honor sap across his inner mandibles, a ritual of composure when facing lesser prey. A tradition since the first purge. He tongued the fluid slowly, letting its bitterness fortify his confidence. "Signal source?" he asked. A query delivered in high-crest formality, as was expected of one of his caste. "Beacon class," Heliox replied, bowing his head until his nasal horns grazed the data altar. "Human in origin, age undetermined." There was a click-click of unease across the command gallery. Not fear, but the lesser caste often blurred such distinctions. "Singular?" Vertalic asked. "Yes, my spinal, alone, no network, no reticulum." The scent in the air soured by one note. A lone human signal was rarely just that. Dominion history, what few unpurged records remained from the Crimson Archive, made one lesson unmistakable. Humanity did not operate in isolation. They layered traps beneath diplomacy, camouflaged war beneath silence. Even their defeats whispered of calculus beyond understanding. But even apex predators could wither. The Dominion had seen to that. "Query, does the signal match historical aggression protocols?" Vertalic demanded, vocal SAC now oscillating with clipped resonance. "No," said Heliox. "It loops in passive echo. No encryption, no threat code. Pure carrier." Another sour note. Still, arrogance was a spinal virtue. The Zalzaran carried 119 Ghost Spear drones, 3 quantum null emitters, and a dark core fissure cannon whose firing prayer required 3 cast chants and a blood seal. No derelict human signal could withstand that. "Approach vector plotted. Let us see what scavengers have left behind." Heliox bowed again, marking his subservience with a 3-blink salute. The chamber echoed with it as the crew followed suit. The chamber shifted as the vessel entered drift burn, folding across sub-reel to glide closer to the signal's source. Ritual complete, Vertalic leaned back into the embrace of the command spine, an organic cradle that interfaced directly with his cortical nodes. Contact, initial, formal, cultural memo, human archive, entry 3 delta. They burned themselves first. Dominion assessment, arrogance layered with contradiction. Conclusion: ritual mimicry of predator behavior, inefficient, unsustainable, eradicated. They had eradicated Earth, hadn't they? Vertalic pulsed his inner frill. The Dominion's oldest war songs told of the cleansing, how human resistance fractured under gravity lances and scion pits, how their orbital archives were shattered into radiation dust. Yet still, echoes. This beacon was not debris. It was a message. A scent gland near Vertalic's clavicle flexed involuntarily, releasing a twitch of oil fright. He immediately countered it with a pride-suppressant spray, a ritual expected of all commanders when confronted with uncertainty. To falter was to recall Girvalan. May his name be scraped. The commander who panicked before a human subfleet and ruptured 5 systems by firing blind. A cautionary tale taught through blood and dismemberment. Visual contact, Helios said. Object emerging from veil. The display shivered, then clarified. A vessel, human signature. No Dominion registry match. It hung in space like a derelict cathedral. Angular, yes, but not decayed. Its hull was obsidian, matte as null space. No lights, no comms. Just a structure, spinning in slow elegance. A single spire rose from its rear section like a monolith. There were no visible thrusters, no weapon arrays, yet its presence carved a silence into the gallery that no chant could break. Size, 3.9 kilorets, Helios murmured. Name? Serialized human marking, silent vector. The crew shifted. Even the command weavers halted their melodic loop. Veritalic's second heart fluttered. A breach of composure he masked by clicking his rear mandibles. Silent. Vector. The name itself was violence. Begin ritual observation, he ordered, and prepare the chant of first analysis. We will not be caught unready. A wave of chittered responses echoed across the deck. Helios intoned the opening syllables. Herzan Takrel, we see with mirrored eyes. The observation began. And something within Vertalic recoiled, not from the ship, from the name, vector, not vessel, not beacon, but a direction, a message, a trajectory. The silent vector remained motionless, a prayer-shaped silhouette in the void, casting no emission save for the beacon pulse, unchanging in tone, unwavering in rhythm. Vertalic had seen human derelicts before. This was not one. Ritual scans complete, reported subprime Helios, though his voice trembled with the faintest harmonic dissonance. Initial readings, lack correlation. Vertalic narrowed his breathing slits. Clarify, Helios hesitated. In the Dominion Navy, hesitation was a form of rebellion. The CAS protocols required either immediate report or a self-chastisement scent flare. Helios did neither. Instead, he whispered, hull composition, unknown. Silence spread across the command dais. Not stunned, not confused, offended. Vertalic stood fully upright, his spinal fronds flaring. Repeat your statement, he hissed. Helios flinched. Apologies, Spinal. The alloy matrix defies known periodic templates. It reflects gravimetric lensing, but absorbs neutrino drift. There are carbon signatures, but inverted chirality. What you describe is impossible, said High Weaver Telsich from the flanking loom. No species engineers in inverted chirality. Humans do not build as others do, Vertalic growled, curling his forelimbs into his thoracic cradle. But neither do they violate physics. Continue, Helios dipped his horns. Internal energy mapping is inconclusive. No reactor signature, no thermal gradient. Yet scans detect pressure variations consistent with an active biosphere. Life signs? Asked Telsich. No, none, but internal structure shifts, slowly, as if in breath. A low keening began in the gallery, a vibration in the deck itself, not an alarm, a biological sound, the unconscious harmonic murmur of nervous crew. Vertalic reached for the command altar and drew his talons across the touch organ. Silence the underlings. Order the 3-click pride chant. A chorus of rapid tongue clicks rang out, 3 per crew member per cast protocol. It was a ritual older than most Dominion outposts, used to dispel fear with rhythm. Fear, after all, was a mammalian indulgence. Dominion blood ran cold with purpose. Still. The scent in the chamber soured again. The Zaljaran's external sensors began their descent through spectral layers. One by one, the data returns arrived, and each defied the next. Thermal mapping, a dead vessel, quantum echoes, a pulsing core, active and watching, magnetic shadowing, smooth contours, optical overlay, indistinct fractured outlines, as if the vessel existed in multiple temporal phases. "What are we looking at?" whispered Telzik. Heliox bared his throat in contrition. "Unknown, High Weaver. Every lens tells a different story." "That is not a ship," said one of the junior scent priests, his voice trembling. "It is a mask." Vertalik's second heart skipped again. The phrase was not in any protocol. He turned sharply. "Expunge that line of thought. Command scent suppressors now." The gallery was flooded with hissing vapors, an engineered blend of neural dullers, pride stimulants, and olfactory anchors. The air thickened with calm, false calm, ritual calm. "Emotion is parasite," Vertalik intoned. "Analysis is armor. Recite the doctrine of dominion." The crew murmured in chorus. "We see, therefore we command. We command, therefore we endure. We endure, therefore we rule." But the words felt brittle in the air. Heliox's forelimbs twitched. He glanced toward the display again. Spinal, a new anomaly. Audio bleed-through from within the vessel. External speakers activated. "Play it." The sound emerged, not from speakers, but from the hull of the vector. A mechanical moan, deep and low, like pressure warping steel. It did not repeat. It did not pulse. It sustained, like something holding its breath beneath a surface tension not meant to exist. Telzik's frills folded halfway in submission. "That is a threat call, mimicked from apex predators of the sorrow abyss." "No," Heliox murmured. "It's not mimicry, it's recorded, authentic, layered across multiple ecosystems." "You mean, yes, the vector is playing memories." There was a shift in light, not external, internal. On every screen, subtle distortions spread, shadows on walls where there should be none, flickers at the corners of the optics, a shimmer in the deck plating. "Sensory interference," Vertalik snapped. "No interference, Spinal," said Heliox, voice cracking. "No emissions, no breaches." "Then how?" Heliox did not finish. He was no longer looking at his console. He was staring straight ahead, eyes wide, frill fully erect. The display showed a new form. Inside the ship, not human, not organic. A silhouette, tall, limbed, standing perfectly still. "We have internal visuals," Heliox whispered. "That's impossible," Vertalik snapped. "You said no life signs?" "I don't detect any. The ship is projecting this, directly into our visual cortex feeds, not via radio, not via data stream, directly, through synesthetic coupling." Vertalik froze. That was Dominion technology. No, classified, cast-sealed technology. Humans had no access to neural overlays like this. They had no business interfacing through Dominion schema. And yet, the silhouette on screen slowly raised one arm, not to threaten, to greet. The gesture was unmistakable, coded from ancient Earth signals. A wave, and on every screen, a phrase began to write itself in Dominion glyphs, etched by light, without signal origin. "We knew you would come." The chant stopped. No one spoke. Even Vertalik found his fronds quivering. "Spinal," Heliox said, his voice now shaking with unveiled fear. "They didn't send a beacon to call for help," he swallowed. "They sent one to wait for us. No alarm sounded, no weapons primed, no fire bloomed from the human ship. But the Zalzaran's gallery fell into a tension so profound it rendered the crew silent, even past ritual. The message looped again, glyphs etched in impossible light, drawn not by comms, but by direct cortical resonance. "We knew you would come," Vertalik's throat clicks faltered. He reached for the command altar, but the interface retracted, a defensive instinct from the ship's semi-organic brain. Even the Harrower-class core recoiled. "This is a Dominion vessel," he hissed to the air. "We do not yield interface priority." The altar did not respond. "It's not refusing you, Spinal," Heliox murmured. "It's refusing the signal." Telzic's voice wavered. "Is this infiltration?" "No known Dominion protocol uses psycho-scripted visual resonance," Heliox replied, antennae flicking erratically. "Not without proximity nodes, and not from a dead vessel." "It is not dead," Vertalik whispered. No one corrected him. A soft tone resonated in the gallery, not from the ship, but inside their minds. A soft click, then a voice. Not alien, not Dominion, human. "Hello?" The word landed like gravity. Vertalik's joints locked. The voice was calm, genderless, measured, not synthetic, but not fully organic either, not warm, not hostile, prepared. "You have entered a restricted quarantine corridor. This vector is not programmed for engagement. You may leave." Heliox drew a sharp breath. "Is it a construct?" I don't know. There's no signal origin. The voice is manifesting through our own neural loops." "Your language remains remarkably stable," the voice continued, "an efficiency we've come to respect." "Who is speaking?" Vertalik demanded. "A fragment, one of many. You are not the first to come, but you are early." "Early? The others will come later. You came too soon." A silence. Telzik stepped forward. "What is your purpose?" "Preservation." Vertalik's eyes narrowed. "Of what?" "Of warning. We are not here to fight. We are here to remain." "Remain for what?" The voice paused. Then, "That is, above your pay grade." Several scent glands flared. Panic, pride offense, disrespect ritual triggered, yet unvoiced. Even now, no threat posture, no change in the silent vector's configuration. Yet the Zalzaran systems flickered. Screens blinked. Sensory data doubled back on itself. Telzic's frill curled. "This is a feint. Psychological warfare," Heliox whispered. "No, it's worse." He tapped one of the subscreens. "This isn't just language. It's anticipation. Every query we issue, every scan, even our vocal frequencies, they're countered in real time. Our tactical algorithms are being pre-read." "You mean we're being modeled?" No one moved. No weapon flared. And yet the silent vector, a ship with no reactor bloom, no visible weapons, no emissions, was winning. "We advise departure," the voice said again, still with no emotion. "No judgment is assigned. No harm is intended." Vertalik turned away from the altar and gestured in old code, a clawed swipe downward. "Launch Ghost Spear probe, full spectral assault. Show them the Dominion remembers." The scent priests flinched. Heliox paused. "Spinal, now." The order could not be revoked. A single Ghost Spear, a liquid core autonomous attack unit, launched from the Harrower's forward maw. It shimmered across the dark, invisible to most spectrums, accelerated to high C. It neared the silent vector, and then vanished. No explosion, no impact, just ceased. Heliox stared at the feed. "Telemetry lost. All data chains snapped. Redirect scans. We can't. Every feed is looping." Indeed, the external cameras began playing the same 3 seconds of footage, repeating over and over the moment before the spear disappeared. "They've overwritten our temporal buffers," Heliox said hoarsely. "The vector. It predicted our weapon and rewrote our perception of failure." "It's not defense," whispered Telzic. "It's containment." "We said no harm is intended," said the voice again. "Please do not attempt further aggression. Your vessel will remain intact if you comply." Rage rose in Vertalik's core. "How?" he barked. How is this possible? You have no crew, no systems, no power. Incorrect. The screen shifted. A new image appeared. Not a sensor readout, not a scan, a map, a region of space rendered in photonic glyph. 7 systems, all marked extinct. Beside them, Dominion symbols, fleet emblems, names of ships, familiar, real. Those systems are active, Telzik snapped. We have outposts in the Tyrant Stretch, fortresses at Drell. Not anymore, Veritalik lunged forward, disabling the screen, slamming his forelimbs into the altar. But the image bled through, now burned directly into their ocular layers. No screens required. They did not heed the warning either. Heliox's frill began to molt, shedding in stress. Spinal, he gasped. I access the deepest layers. The vector's architecture is layered with psychosynthetic code. It's not just a ship. He turned wide-eyed. It's a record. Correct, said the voice. We exist to inform and to delay. Delay what? A pause, a long one. Then, you're not ready. Silence, total. Even the crew ceased breath. You think this is about war with you. It is not. You are not the variable. That final word stung like a lash. Veritalik's heart staggered. You were never the variable, just the calibration. Calibration, Vertalik repeated, the word sour in his frill. The voice, that calm human timbre that didn't waver even once, responded without delay. Yes, you test the protocols, you trigger the sequences, you help refine the thresholds. For what? The one that follows. The bridge dimmed. Not by design, the Zaljaran's primary lumen strands were being overridden, dimming pulse by pulse, as if the silent vector were adjusting the lighting to make them see better. But not screens, reality itself. Heliox, Vertalik rasped. Full systems diagnostic, bypass external ports, use Castellus channels. Heliox obeyed without even saluting, a breach of protocol unpunished only because dread was now doctrine. I'm inside our core now, he said after a moment, but something is guiding me. Guiding? It's like the answers are being laid out ahead of me, before I ask the questions. You are walking rehearsed paths, the voice offered. This conversation is not new. We have had it before, with others, variants of you. We are not variants. We are dominion. So were they. Who? It doesn't matter. Then, without warning, the vector opened. Not physically, not with sound, but with understanding. A cascade of data burst across the crew's interfaces, images, schematics, philosophies, design blueprints laid atop ecological readouts, tactical logs merged with biological simulations. And beneath it all, survival metrics. Each slice of information pointed not toward conquest, but resistance. Not against the dominion, but against something else. Spinal. Heliox's voice was unsteady. This ship's armor, it's not designed to deflect energy weapons or kinetic slugs. Vertalik leaned forward. Explain. It's structured to withstand entropy phase disruptions, spatial consumption, quantum decay, hunger fields, whispered Telzik. Yes, Heliox said, and there's more. These scars. He gestured to the close-up visuals of the silent vector's hull. Grooves, shattered panels, microscopic pitting across impossible alloys. Those aren't combat wounds from us. They're burns, from pressure, from something pressing in from outside normal space. Even Vertalik's scent glands failed to trigger. There was no ritual for this. Defensive protocols in the ship's AI, Heliox continued, are designed to be passive. It doesn't fire first. It never attacks. Its only function is preservation. Correct, said the voice. We are not soldiers. We are seeds. Seeds? Of memory, of caution, of continuity. Telzik turned. You are implying the humans who built this vessel did not expect to survive. No. Then why build it at all? Because they hoped someone would. There was no breath among the crew. Even the vessel's hum had fallen still. Heliox whispered, "The deeper I dig, the worse it gets. There's a library in here, buried in psycho-emotive code." And Heliox's mouth parts clicked. It's not about us, the Dominion. He looked up, eyes wide. There's a name repeated through the logs, redacted in every archive, even ours. He tapped the screen. Black Star Protocol. Vertalik's fronds stiffened. He'd heard the phrase before, once, in a forbidden caste debate. Purged after one cycle, a myth, a weapon, or worse. Heliox continued. It appears in fragments, associated with full system sterilizations, galaxy edge colonies disappearing, reports of entire ecosystems being reversed to inert matter. Telzik staggered backward. That's not warfare, he whispered. That's annulment. Heliox didn't blink. The silent vector wasn't built to fight us. It was built to flee something older, something still coming. It is coming, the voice confirmed. Then why let us find this ship? Telzik asked, his voice cracking. Why show us any of this? Because in your arrogance, you would pursue humanity to extinction. You would eliminate us, thinking yourselves superior. But we were never preparing to fight you. The screens shifted again. New images, internal schematics. Vertalik stared. The silent vector's central core was not a reactor. It was a gestation chamber, and inside it. Heliox's voice failed. He simply displayed the footage. Something asleep floated in the chamber, neither human nor machine. It pulsed with faint light, limbs half-formed, mind suspended in something that was neither life nor code. What is that? Telzik asked, recoiling. The solution, said the voice. You killed the old humans. That was expected. That was necessary. But something must remain. Heliox's breath hitched. This is their legacy. Yes. A stillness overtook the ship. Then, we left these seeds so that when the Black Star arrives, there will be a chance. Not for us. For what comes next. Telzik nearly fell to his knees. You used us. You let us chase you. So you could perfect the weapon, the shell, the survivor. You were ideal test parameters, predictable, aggressive. You taught the protocols how to hide, how to adapt, how to outlast. Your fury made us precise. The lights dimmed further. The gestation chamber's heartbeat quickened. And now Vertalik understood. The silent vector was never meant to return fire. It was a furnace for the future. An arc designed not to win, but to remember how. Spinal, Heliox whispered, his voice barely audible. They didn't lose. Vertalik stared. No. They transcended the battlefield. They turned extinction into calculus. They baited the Dominion with just enough resistance to sharpen the blade that came after. We thank you for your service, said the voice. You may leave now. or stay if you prefer to be useful again. But know this, you were never our enemy, a beat. You were our whetstone. You were our... The scent in the bridge had curdled beyond control. No suppressor vapor worked now. The air stank of molting glands, leaking terror, and burnt ritual incense trying, failing, to mask the truth. They were not conquerors here. They were participants. Vertalik stood motionless at the center of the command gallery, his primary limbs unclenched, his posture collapsed into something no Dominion leader had ever displayed: uncertainty. The silent vector hovered, still silent, still motionless. No weapons activated, no aggression shown. And yet it had defeated them, in totality, through design, through anticipation, through understanding. He looked around the bridge. Heliox no longer worked. He merely stared. Telzik sat crumpled near the scent loom, his frill peeled half down, praying silently in the forbidden dialect of the uncasted. The crew had stopped performing their duties, because duty now felt like ritual theater played to an empty cosmos. Vertalik activated the private altar, a link reserved only for spinal commanders during ancestral doubt. It had not been used in 4 generations. The pulsing bone node opened. "Submit," he whispered, and his voice cracked like aged chitin. Personal reflection, encrypted. The altar accepted, and Vertalik, supreme of the Zaljaran, dominion cleaver of the Verge, began to speak as a supplicant. "We believed ourselves the apex," he said, "and by many measures we were. We outlasted the embrace kin, silenced the plasm choir, brought extinction to the last ember flock. We tore down Earth's solar defense nets and cracked their gravity well with surgical fury." He looked up at the unmoving ship beyond the viewport. "And they led us." His claws curled slowly. "We believed their silence was surrender, their fragmentation, weakness, their extinction, complete." He closed his secondary eyes. But the humans were not dying. They were editing. A slow breath. He let it out, trembling. They stripped away everything that could not serve the future. They let go of form, of flesh, of nations, of vengeance. He gestured toward the gestation pod within the silent vector. And in their place, they left this. He could not name what this was. A weapon? A seed? A godling? It beat with something he had no ritual for, something that wasn't hate, nor hope, but a kind of designated destiny. They were not fighting us. We were the crucible. They needed something to survive the Black Star, and we were the pressure test. "That is correct," came the voice again, unprompted, as if it listened to the soul, not the speech. Vertalik did not flinch. He did not speak further. The truth had spoken for itself. He turned from the altar, sealing the reflection. Perhaps the home choir would review it. Perhaps not. Perhaps they would kill him for it, or purge the memory altogether. But even purged, some truth scarred the genome. He moved toward the main dais. "The Dominion," he said quietly, "must be warned." Heliox blinked. "Do you intend to retreat?" A question layered in shame. "No," Vertalik said. "I intend to survive." He gazed at the silent vector. Transmit no logs, no threat display. Let this encounter vanish into classified breath. We will say the signal was a ghost, a mirage. Telzik hesitated. That would violate Protocol 9. There is no protocol for facing something that engineered its extinction into a ladder. He paused and climbed past us. He raised his forelimbs in final command gesture. Revert systems, exit drift, fold away. The ship obeyed, and as the Zalzaran turned from the silent vector, Vertalik felt, for the first time in his decades of service, the eerie sensation of being allowed to leave, not spared, released. The human voice returned, soft now, like a closing hymn. We thank you for your participation. Please remember, this was never your war. You were never the threat. The fold space ignited, the Dominion vessel vanished, and in the void, the silent vector remained, quiet, unarmed, patient. Its heartbeat accelerated, not from fear, from schedule. Post-encounter note. Dominion Spinal Commander Vertalik. Personal memoir, never officially archived. We once believed extinction was the end, that our enemies would beg, burn, and vanish. But humanity did not end. They reformatted. We mistook silence for defeat, but their silence was compression. And what remains is not survival. It is preparation. They never prepared for war with us. We were the calibration test.